Hi, I'm Scott Flowers with Cloud Ninjas. Today we're here to continue our series on the Dell PowerEdge R940xa server. In this video we're going to specifically focus on RAID. Let's get going. Well, hey, thanks for stopping by today to learn a little bit more about the Dell PowerEdge R940xa server. Do us a favor, find anything that helps you in this video, click that like and smash that subscribe. All right, we'll top in. Now, this video is going to be specifically dedicated to RAID. So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to start by putting up a nice little comparison chart for you for the compatible RAID cards. This is going to be the approved RAID controllers by Dell. You can technically throw in some different LSI RAID controllers, and if you have some fan favorites, hey, throw a comment down below, but this is going to be focused on the Dell approved RAID controllers. And then what we're going to show you how to do is how to install your RAID controller, and then at the very end, we're going to show you how to configure RAID 5. So yeah, there's going to be a lot going on in this video, so let's just hop into the good stuff. All right, let's start by putting up the RAID comparison chart. This is going to show you the different cache, the different speeds, the PCIe gen, the different RAID levels, a bunch of just really good information consolidated in one place. So if you want, you can hit pause right now to just enjoy the RAID chart and figure out what exactly you might want for your system. So if you want anything to do with NVMe, most likely you're going to be using the S140 onboard software. There's an HBA330, H330, H730, H730P. All these are actually from the 13th gen, but can still be used in the 14th gen servers. There's some newer ones that came out in the 14th gen, which are actually still compatible with some of the 13th gen servers, like the H740P, the H840, the H350 is actually from the 15th gen that works with it, the HBA350i, the H750, the HBA 355E. All these are great compatible cards depending on your application and your scenario, but do know these are compatible. All right, now that we know a little bit more about the cards as a whole, let's show you how to install it. But before we do, I'm going to grab my ESD gear. Be right back. All right, have my ESD gear on. We're safe to handle our parts and work inside our machine. So wanted to lay out just a couple of the different types of cards here. So we have a H740P, H30P, and H330. You'll notice with the H330 there's no cache on it, but here's just a couple of the cards. You'll notice they're all PCIe as well. The mini mono is not compatible with the R940xa. It does have to be a PCIe. Probably should have mentioned that a little bit earlier in the video. So what we'll be installing will be a PCIe. So all right, now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to open it up. So we're just going to toss these to the side. You're just going to pop your latch and lift your top. All right, so to start, you're going to unscrew these two blue screws with a regular old Phillips head screwdriver. So one thing you'll also notice is that I'm using a manual screwdriver. I'm a big fan of the manual screwdrivers as opposed to the electric or the automatic. The electric ones, while they're very handy, tend to strip the screws a little bit more. Once those are properly unscrewed, you're going to take these two ends, you're going to pull them inwards and lift to remove the bracket. Now you're going to take this cover off by pushing these two levers inward and just lift straight up, set that to the side. All right, next thing we're going to do is move these cables to the side. Just take the cables out from under the hooks and we're going to set them to the side for now. Now you're going to remove the air baffle. Essentially, you're just going to use both sides. You're going to press outward and lift straight up. So yes, press outward and just lift straight up. Very easy. All right, you can see the 4 heat sinks on top of the CPUs. The next step we're going to do is remove these 2 risers. All right, so all you're going to do is use this blue lever, push it forward to unlock, and you're going to be able to lift the riser straight up. Same thing for the next riser. Just going to push the lever forward and lift the riser straight up. All right, so now you're going to take your RAID controller and connect the RAID cable to the controller. Once you have the cables connected, we're just going to simply pop in our RAID controller into the PCIe slot. So make sure that you have everything lined up properly and make sure you fully insert it. Sometimes you have to push down a little bit harder than you'd like to make sure that it's fully inserted, and double check that there's no gold leads that you can actually see. If you can see the gold leads, it's not fully inserted, which means you'll have some issues with the RAID controller actually popping up. It'll basically just show that it's not even a RAID cable in there. So again, just make sure that it is fully inserted.
Hey guys, it's Ben with Cloud Ninjas, and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to configure RAID 5. You're going to want to make sure that you have a RAID controller installed into your server. Scott showed you how to do this beforehand, so go ahead and follow his instructions. And then once you've installed a RAID controller, you can actually go ahead and configure RAID 5. And not just RAID 5, you can configure other RAID levels as well, but specifically in this video, we're going to be going over RAID 5. You also want to make sure that you have a minimum of 3 drives installed in order to configure RAID 5. This is something that's specific for RAID 5. RAID 0 and RAID 1, they have different minimum drive requirements. So go ahead and research the drive requirements for the desired RAID level that you are looking for, and then just make sure you have that number of drives installed. And if you want to install more than that minimum, then you're more than welcome to. But specifically for this video, you're going to want to need a minimum of 3 drives plugged into your server. So in order to get started, you want to go ahead and boot up your server. And during post, you want to go ahead and press F2 so we can go into system setup. Once in system setup, go ahead and scroll down to device settings. Once we're in device settings, you want to go ahead and click on the option that represents our RAID controller. And inside of this menu, we can go ahead and click on configuration management, and then we can click on create virtual disk. Once we're in here, we can go ahead and select our RAID level. So like we said earlier, we're gonna go ahead and do RAID 5. We're gonna leave unconfigured capacity unchecked, and then we're gonna select physical disk. We wanna go ahead and change the media type to both, and then apply those changes. And then down here, we wanna select all 3 of our drives, and then we wanna click apply changes. Now we just wanna go ahead and click OK. And then we can scroll up and then click create virtual disk, then click confirm, and then yes. And then we can just go ahead and click OK again. So really what that was saying was that, hey, if you do this operation, if we create this virtual disk, it'll erase all the data that is on those drives. So if you're okay with erasing the data that's on these drives, or those drives have no data at all, then you're all good to create the virtual disk. Now once that's done loading, there's only one step I like to take just so I can make sure that everything was done properly and that creating this virtual disk did indeed work. So we want to go back to that main menu and then go to virtual disk management, and here we can see where it says virtual disk 0 RAID 5. So this is that RAID 5 array that we just created. So as you can see, it did indeed work, and we have successfully configured RAID 5. If you found this video useful, go ahead and leave a like and smash the subscribe. And if you're interested in purchasing a custom built server, whether it's Dell, HP, Supermicro, Cisco, we have plenty in stock. We also have AMD Ryzen servers, AMD EPYC servers, Intel Xeon scalable servers. So if that's something you're interested in, go ahead and email us at sales@cloudninjas.com. That's sales@cloudninjas.com. Take care, guys.